Good day everyone. We are presenting our paper entitled Prioritization of Program and Projects of the Department of Science and Technology for endorsement to the Public Investment Program of the National Economic and Development Authority. Using the analytic hierarchy process. The analytic hierarchy process is one of the most inclusive system, which are considered to make decision with multiple criteria. The NEDA is the authorized body to spearhead the necessary activities for the formulation or preparation of development planning and investment programming reports and other documents. This includes the Public Investment Program reports, which contain the proposed and ongoing priority programs and projects that are responsive to the outcomes and outputs reflected in the results matrices of the 2017 to 2022 Philippine Development Plan. NEDA then consolidates, processes, and endorses the PAPs to the Department of Budget and Management, to which will be utilized for the preparations of the annual national government budget. Following the said responsibility of NEDA, every year, they release a timetable of activities and submissions needed for the budget preparation process. Each agency or office is required to submit a rolling list of priority PAPs, which contributes to meeting the PDP targets and achieving result matrix outcomes. PAPs are being approved by NEDA based on the following criteria: responsiveness, readiness, and typology. It is the responsibility of the central office to filter all submitted DOST PAPs. The last update, prior to the study, which is in 2018, out of the 1,022 DOST system PAPs endorsed, 955 were able to pass through NEDA to DBM. This is in preparation for the fiscal year 2020 budget call. The Department of Science and Technology is the premier science and technology body in the country, charged with the twin mandate of providing central direction, leadership, and coordination of all scientific and technological activities, and of formulating policies, programs, and projects to support national development. It is composed of 3 sectoral planning councils, 7 research and development institutes, 6 science and technology service institutes, 2 collegial bodies, and 16 regional offices. Given this number of attached agencies and offices, it is expected that DOST will generate hundreds of PAPs in total. It is the job of the DOST Central Office to consolidate, review, process, and submit to NEDA all the determined PAPs. For the preliminary part of the analysis, we looked at various perspectives to analyze the demographic summary of the given data. Available data shows the priority programs and projects endorsed by DOST in the recent updating of the 2017 to 2022 Public Investment Program, and the formulation of the 2021 to 2023 3-year infrastructure program. This is in preparation for the 2021 budget call. We will focus on the 1,203 PAP submitted by the DOST Office of the Secretary and 18 attached DOST agencies in October 2019. The success of the study will have a significant implication on the evaluation of DOST programs and projects for endorsement to the Public Investment Program. It is hoped that the results of the study will provide insight into the policy and decision makers on where to give attention to the endorsement of PAPs. We conducted data analysis to identify the ranking of priority programs and projects submitted by the attached agencies and regional offices. The AHP method is a robust and flexible tool for dealing with complex decision problems, highlighted by Mediz and Debasiri. This method divides a complicated system into a hierarchical system of elements, which usually includes objectives, evaluation criteria, and alternatives. The evaluation criterion level may be composed of various valuation criteria, which can be also extended into a multi-layer structure. As Siri cited, AHP is a qualitative method and very much dependent on the assessor's point of view. In an unbiased experience, you will find that the consistency index is far from ideal. Those who have the method and have time, they will tinker with numbers until they get a good consistency index. Using AHP, we modeled how DOST Central Office prioritize projects and programs, as shown in the figure. This is the AHP model and framework of responsiveness for investment and infrastructure priority programs and projects, and the AHP model and framework of typology for investment priority programs and projects. Hence, we modeled how DOST Central Office prioritize projects and programs, as shown in the figure. Showing here is the AHP identification process of the decision, or the objective processes we conducted. The evaluation criterion level may be composed of various valuation criteria, which can be also extended into a multi-layer structure. By weighting various evaluation criteria, according to the objectives, as well as the alternatives from the viewpoint of each evaluation criterion, the final scores of the alternatives are determined. The pairwise comparisons are made of the elements of each hierarchy, by means of a nominal scale. Then, comparisons are quantified to establish a comparison matrix, and the eigenvector of the matrix is derived, which signifies the comparative weight amongst various elements of a certain hierarchy. The eigenvalue is used to assess the strength of the consistency ratio of the comparative matrix, and determine whether to accept the information. The conventional AHP method is a quantitative technique, that is, it does not directly allow the DMs to handle decision problems, when they may be uncertain about their level of preference, due to incomplete information, or knowledge, complexity, and uncertainty inherent in the decision environment, or lack of an appropriate measure or scale. In these cases, it is easier to determine relative preferences by linguistic values such as extreme priority, very strongly priority, strong priority, moderate priority or equally priority, rather than by specific values of an agreed assessment scale. The pairwise comparison matrix will be established through the calculation of eigenvalue and eigenvector. The eigenvalue and eigenvector formula can be seen here. This presents the pairwise comparison results of the alternatives and the criteria with the respective consistency ratio. 28 comparisons were generated to produce this result. The computation shows that both the CRs of the responsiveness for investment programs and projects and for infrastructure are less than 10%. This is a good sign that the measurement of the assessment for endorsed programs and projects from the DOST agencies and regional offices using the AHP model is trustworthy or reliable. The resulting weights, based on the principal eigenvector of the mean decision matrix, with respective consistency ratio. All values show consistency with CR ranging from 0.14% to 8%. This shows that responsiveness for investment and infrastructure PAPs are below 10%, and that measurement of the assessment for endorsed programs and projects from the DOST agencies and regional offices using the AHP model is trustworthy and reliable across all criteria. Table presents the pairwise comparison results of the alternatives and the resulting weights based on the principal eigenvector of the mean decision matrix with respective consistency ratio. Only one comparison was generated to produce this result. The computation shows that both the CRs of the responsiveness for investment programs and projects and for infrastructure are both 0%. This also holds true that the AHP model is a trustworthy and reliable measurement of the assessment for endorsed programs and projects from the DOST agencies and regional offices. After generating the results with the preliminary tests and showing that performing AHP is appropriate for the study, the succeeding results show the actual data from endorsed DOST investment and infrastructure PAPs and the recommended prioritization based on the AHP model. The chart shows the actual data of responsiveness for investment and the result of the AHP in percentage. Innovation stimulated investments as the top priority for both results. However, it is halved in the AHP model, giving more opportunities to other investments such as focusing on developing critical mass of globally competitive STI human resources, which went up from 9.12% in the actual data to 21.67% in the AHP model. This chart shows the actual data of responsiveness for infrastructure and the result of the AHP in percentage. Infrastructures for developing critical mass of globally competitive STI human resources reveal as the top priority for both results. The chart shows the readiness for the investment of new and ongoing projects, based on actual data from endorsed projects, and results from the AHP model. It shows that, ongoing projects are, more prioritized in both the actual data and the AHP model. This shows the priority given to DOST in terms of their typology for investment as based on actual data from endorsed projects and results from the AHP model. Actual data from endorsed projects shows that there is a minute priority given to programs and projects that are based on real lending. The AHP allows us to classify the most important factors influencing the project or program priorities. Based on these findings, the three main factors for investment are innovation stimulated, technology adoption, and STI human resource development respectively. For infrastructure programs or projects, STI human resource development, disaster risk and climate change resilience, and innovation stimulated respectively. Because of the use of AHP in the analysis of the project and program prioritization, this type of study is strongly related to its context, and the results vary from one country to another, and even from one institution to another. The designed AHP model has good consistency ratios, but the actual data is very far from the ideal AHP model, as seen in the results of the conducted data analysis. The reason amid the gap between the actual data and ideal AHP model is because most DOST-attached agencies are very focused on innovation, and they have no priority weighing tool, resulting in neglection of the other priority areas. Innovation stimulated investments as the top priority for both results. However, it is halved in the AHP model, giving more opportunity to other investments, such as focusing on developing a critical mass of globally competitive science, technology, and innovation human resources. And that ends our presentation. Thank you.